Technical debt is an interesting way of thinking about what happens when you take shortcuts in your design process. Technical debt is messy code, messy designs, messy architecture, or missing things that you just haven't had time to clean up. Some signs of debt include degraded code quality, such as spaghetti code or too many globals or a bunch of unresolved compiler warnings. Or maybe some skipped process steps, such as you didn't do peer reviews or you just did them really quickly, or you skipped unit tests. Maybe you're seeing a high fault reinjection ratio. That's when every time you fix something, new bugs appear and it's at a high rate. All those types of things tell you that you're incurring or have already incurred technical debt. In general, the way you incur debt is by taking a shortcut. Now, let's be clear. Short-term debt can be useful. For example, if you have a weekly deadline and your business is going to go out of business if you don't meet the deadline, you may say, I'm going to skip some short-term steps because I have to meet that deadline. Think of it as saying, I haven't got my paycheck yet. I need a new pair of shoes. I'm going to buy shoes on my credit card because without it, I'm barefooted. That can be okay. The catch is what happens after the deadline. Do you pay off the credit card or do you just let the debt ride and move on to other things? The smart way to use technical debt is to incur it when you need to, but repay it as soon as you can by refactoring the system. By refactoring, I mean go back and redesign the system. If you skipped a peer review, go back and do their peer review as soon as you can, not waiting until it's time for the project to ship, and so on. The reason technical debt is a nice analogy is that technical debt incurs interest just like credit cards do. If you take a bunch of shortcuts, you're going to end up with messy code, and that messy code will be harder and more expensive to maintain. It'll be more bug prone, so there'll be more things to fix, and it's more likely to break when you touch it. Over time, accumulated technical debt becomes unsustainable to the point that you end up having to throw away the code and start over. Keeping this in mind, technical debt shouldn't be zero necessarily. It should be used as a tool to have the right amount of debt, just like responsible use of a credit card. Technical debt is a reasonable way to smooth out issues with workloads, overloads, and external deadlines, but it should be paid off as quickly as you reasonably can. The best practice is to devote part of each technical cycle to repaying the technical debt. So you may say, all right, if we have to take near-term technical debt, that's what we have to do. Doing so has to be approved, so we don't skip steps willy-nilly, but management may say, all right, we're going to do this one shortcut, and then we're going to set aside 10 or 15% of our workload to repay that technical debt as soon as we can.